Okay, we'll start in a couple of minutes. Okay. So in our previous class, we have discussed about the organic farming. So this particular chapter will be finishing in today's class, and for the coming final examination. Okay. For the final exam, as and when the dates will appear, okay, the syllabus, okay, will be from chapter 1 to 6. Okay, that is the nervous system. Okay, so these two chapters, that is the health hygiene as well as the food production, these two chapters will not be included in the final exam. Okay, the syllabus will be from chapter 1 to chapter 6. Okay, so today what we will do is we will finish the chapter. We have not much remaining. We will finish that one today, and from the next class onwards we will be doing the revision. We will do the revision from backwards, that is from nervous system. We will start and we'll go up to chapter 1. Okay, any doubts you have, anything you want to ask?
So chapter 7 and 8 will never come in our exams in class 8.
These chapter 7 and 8, okay, chapter 7 and 8 will not be there in the syllabus, okay, for the final exam. Okay, as and when the dates will come, these two chapters will not be included. You will have chapters from 1 to 6, that is still the nervous system. Okay, it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have very little remaining. These two chapters, that is health and hygiene as well as this food production, both these chapters are very much essential for the competitive exams also, and most of the things, so we would not want to just leave it because we do have time. So we have covered this one. Okay, and today we will finish the remaining part, whatever is there. Okay, and then from the next class what we will do is we will be doing the revision. We will be starting from the nervous system up to chapter 1. We will be going in the reverse. Okay, obviously the in the final exam the chapters that are at the end, okay, they will be having the more weightage. Okay, so We'll revise those first and we'll go backwards. Okay. So in our previous class, we have discussed about organic farming and some aspects we discussed about the organic farming. The next thing is the green revolution. Okay. So green revolution was started in India, okay, mainly to increase the production of the uh, grains, okay, that is the wheat, rice, maize, these kind of grain crops, okay, because at that time India was facing a famine like situation. There was a lot of hunger and people were not getting the sufficient grains. So during that time, there was in the 1960s, okay, there was a scientist known as the Norman E. Borlaug, okay. He started this kind of using the high yielding varieties of the food grains, and with the use of the modern technology, they were able to solve the crisis in Mexico. Okay, similar crisis was there. So India also followed the same model, and Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, okay, so he introduced this green revolution in India, okay, particularly in states like Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh during the initial phase to increase this production of the grains. Okay, so the idea here of the green revolution was to make India self-reliant in its food production, okay, so that we don't have to depend on the other countries for our food production. We have the sufficient amount of the land and other resources, so we should be able to utilize it to solve our food crisis. Another aspect, besides the agriculture, the farming practices, is the animal husbandry. Okay, so when we say animal husbandry, it means the domestication of animals for the purpose of getting some work done or to obtain some food material. Okay, so in this kind of when animal husbandry is practiced, the animal is not in the wild, we are taking care of the animal. Therefore animal husbandry will include taking care by feeding, okay, because the animal has to be fed. Whatever we feed, that only it will eat. Okay, taking care of the shelter of the animal, okay, taking care about water, other requirements, okay, and then there is the breeding. Okay, so what happens is, for example, there are the different breeds are there, okay, that may be the indigenous breeds, okay, it may be the exotic breeds, or what you say, the cross breeds. Indigenous breed means the local breed, okay. So in the indigenous breed, for example, for India, in the cow, Gir, Shahiwal, Red Sindhi, these are all indigenous breeds, that means they are local to India. Similarly, there will be some breeds that are local to Australia, okay. So then we say that it is indigenous to Australia, okay. So here indigenous will not mean to India, it only means that it is local to that country, okay. Exotic means foreign. So India also imported some of the varieties of cow from the other countries. Okay. For example, the Jersey, these are the common we see, the Jersey, Holstein, Friesian, Brown, Swiss. Okay. But because these are the foreign varieties, they also need a lot of climate adaptation. Their disease resistance is much less than that of the local varieties. Okay. All these problems are also there, though they are giving very excellent milk production. So what happens is, when we are crossing the indigenous and exotic, then we can get the best, that is a good milk yield as well as the good resistance to the climate and disease. Okay, so in this one, that Frieswall and current rice, these are some of the common breeds of the cross breeds. Okay, next, When we compare the different types of cattle, okay, under animal husbandry, one of the important segment is the cattle. Okay, India has a very huge population of cattle. Okay, and that includes the cow, buffaloes. Okay, and also they can be the draught animals. Okay, when we say draught animals, okay, I'm going a bit fast because I don't think we need to go too deep into this one. Okay, we'll be covering this one in between. If you have any doubts, you are always welcome to ask. Okay, so we have the draught animals means what? These are for the purpose of doing work, get some manual work done. Okay, so best example is like elephant, okay, mule, horses, donkeys. So all of these are also used, bullock carts, bullocks. So bullocks are also used. All of these are what we say the draught animals. Next, in the cattle, one important aspect is the milk. Okay, milk is a very important aspect why animal husbandry is done. So just like the green revolution, the other is the white revolution. Okay, so white revolution, what happened? India has a very large population of the cattle, but when we look at the production of the milk, India was not so good in the production of milk. Okay, so now India definitely stands one of the top producers of milk in the world. Okay, so that was possible because whereas this program took place in 1960s, in 1970s, the program was started to increase the milk production. Okay, so Dr. Varghese Kurian, okay, so the person who started this Amul company of butter and all, Varghese Kurian. So he started this board, that is the National Dairy Development Board. Okay, so that is mainly how we can integrate the farmers, okay, and the end users, that is the customers, in order to get the best profit for deal for both of them. Okay, so then only we can get a very good increase in milk production. So all of these things were done, and Operation Flood, okay, it made the milk available to all the customers also. And over 30 years of this one, now India is one of the top producers of milk in the world. Another aspect of the uh, cattle is the meat. Okay, so meat can be obtained from the goat and sheep also, for example. And there are the various varieties, okay, of the goat, for example, Jamunpari, Kashmiri, Pashmina, beetle, and so on. And sheep also we get additionally the wool. Okay, so here the important part is what we are looking at. The wool is basically a protein, right? Wool is basically a protein. Similarly, when you look at silk, okay, silk is also a protein. So both of these are protein fibers. Both of these are fibers, right? So we use the different types of fibers in the making the fabrics, that is the cloth. Okay, so for example, what you use the cotton. Okay, cotton cloth and all. So cotton is a plant product, right? It is a plant product. Cotton is a plant product. So it is made up of the cellulose, which is nothing but a carbohydrate. Okay, but this wool, silk, all of these are what? They are the protein. They are protein. Okay, next, similar to cattle, another very important segment is the poultry. Okay, poultry is also an important both for the production of the egg as well as for the purpose of meat. Okay, so egg production, both of these types of hens are of the different. The egg laying hens, this variety is known as the layers. Okay, and this one are known as the broilers. Someone's microphone is on, please take care. Okay, so these are the two types of the, both of these are different. Okay. So there are the two. One is the layers, another is the broilers. So both of these varieties are quite different from each other. Okay. So we cannot use these broilers for egg laying purpose and these layers for the purpose of meat. Both of them are different varieties. Another important is the fish farming, that is the pisciculture. Okay, pisciculture means for the production of the fish. So India is also trying to be a leader in the production of fish. Okay, so that is known as the Blue Revolution. Okay, Blue Revolution. So Blue Revolution refers to the even the current budget by the government of India. It has a very detailed this one provisions for promoting the pisciculture. Okay, that is part of the Blue Revolution. In the case of sericulture, okay, sericulture is nothing but obtaining silk from the silkworm. Okay, so the caterpillar of the silkworm, it will produce the cocoon, and that silk is protein in nature. So when it is kept in boiling water, then the silkworm will die, and we can extract the outside that silk fiber. Okay, that silk fiber can be used for the making of the different kind of fabric products. So including, for example, Bhagalpur is also having a certain geographical indication of Bhagalpur silk. Okay, so we have the type of caterpillar that consumes the mulberry leaves. Okay, so that is what happens in the sericulture. Then we have the apiculture. Okay, so under apiculture, it involves keeping the bees for the production of honey and bee wax. Okay, honey, everyone knows that is an excellent commercial product. Okay, bee wax is also extremely important. The wax can be obtained from the different sources. Okay, they can be petroleum wax, they can be different types of wax, but the bee wax is special because the wax has a low melting point. Okay, that is very close to that of the body temperature, so it can be used for ointments. Okay, so when we are applying ointments, generally they put a base. Okay, that base is consisting of the bee wax that can easily melt when we apply on the skin. Okay, so that is also an important product that is coming from here. And these bees are generally kept in boxes. Okay, and these boxes they will also have some kind of honeycomb structure, and this location is known as the apiary. Okay, it's known as the apiary. So there are the different varieties of the bees. Okay, that is the Indian bee, rock bee, and little bee. Okay, Indian bee is Apis cerana indica. Okay, Apis. Okay, everything is coming from here only. That is the genera. This it belongs to the Apis. So Apis cerana, Cerana, cerana indica. Okay, that is coming from India. Apis cerana indica, and there is another known as a little bee. Okay, this one is more famous because its honey is very strong, that irritating flavor. So it will have that when you take that honey, then it will just like for medicinal purposes, it's excellent because it is able to clear the throat very well. So this is the little bee, and this is of course the Indian bee. Okay, so these are the different types of bees are there. Okay, that can be used for the production of the honey and bee wax. Okay,
Excuse,
so yeah.
excuse me, sir. I read out here that in the scientific name of Indian bee Apis cerana indica, Apis is genera genus, Sirena is species, then what is indica?
Indica is going to tell the variety. Okay, so species will be there. Okay, for example, there can be very fine differences, even say some butterfly, it may be very closely related to butterfly, but the pattern of its wings and all those things may be a bit different. So it becomes, we cannot say that they are different species, because when we want to say that it is the species, okay, that means there should be able to breed. Okay, if they are able to breed among themselves, then only it is of the same species, though they are able to breed among themselves. But if there is a distinct variety, okay, then you can mention it here. Okay, this is the Indian variety, so we are writing it as indica. Okay, so in this way, there are the very rapidly we have covered this part of this chapter. Okay, uh, good. Okay, we have some time remaining. In the meanwhile, you want to ask some questions? We have 5 minutes remaining. So, since questions will not be coming from this chapter, okay, so maybe most of you will not be so interested to any further look into this chapter, but those who are interested, they may please also try to solve the questions if you want. Okay, and if you have the doubt, you may ask. But in the next class, what we will do is we will start the revision, okay, of the nervous system. Okay, we'll start the revision of the nervous system. Okay, so what I will suggest is that next class you can study a little bit this chapter. You can revise at least a half an hour before the class also. If you look, that will be good enough. Okay, recently you have written the exam, so I hope you would have prepared already. Okay, so then what we will do is we will revise this chapter. Okay, so we have some time remaining. I will ask one question. So when we touch a hot object, okay, by reflex, we take our hand away from that. So this kind of a reflex will be called as a conditioned reflex, acquired reflex, natural reflex. Okay, what can you call that?
Is inborn natural reflex, not
Natural,
acquired.
natural or inborn? Okay.
Yes, sir, natural reflex.
Anyone else?
Natural reflex.
Okay, all of you, natural reflex.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
because
Because it is inborn in us. It does not come by conditioning the body by subjecting it to a thing again and again. It is inborn in us,
correct,
innate in us. You can say.
correct. Okay, so because it does not involve any conditioning or training. Okay, so if that particular response is coming because of training, then it will be called as a conditioned reflex or acquired reflex. But any other kind of reflex that is coming naturally without any training, that is the inborn or acquired reflex. Okay, so suppose we see a lion or tiger and we either try to run away or we simply get frozen. So that kind of response is natural or it is acquired.
It is
Sir, acquired
natural.
Okay, some of you say it is acquired and some of you are also supporting that it is a natural.
It is natural because we are human beings and we are aware about who are our predators from birth itself.
suppose
That's inborn.
suppose we have not studied T for tiger, L for lion, and all those kind of education is not there, and suddenly you have such a situation. So do you think that response that we make in such a situation, it is a conditioned or natural?
Natural.
Yes, sir, it is natural because an illiterate person will also run away when he sees a tiger.
So basically,
Okay.
this response, what we say, this is known as a fright or flight, fright or flight response. Okay, so what happens is when we are faced with some kind of danger situation, okay, danger situation, it is not necessary that all kind of dangers that are to our life, we will be before only trained on that one, right? On the spot, even the small baby also will, make that this can be dangerous to me. Okay, so when that perception comes, then what will happen is they make a reflex. That reflex may be either to run away from that situation, okay, or it may be fright. Fright means getting so frightened that you simply stay still, you cannot do anything, just you get frozen there. So either it is a flight or fright response. This kind of a response will be the inborn. Okay, there is no conditioning. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
um, sir, when we were talking about fungi,
Yeah.
in its we talked about vitamins and proteins. So there it was written that uh, vitamins like ascorbic acid and riboflavin are produced with the help of microorganisms like yeast. They are an important component of human food supplements.
Okay.
So here supplements. Sir, I want you to describe a bit more about supplements.
Supplements. Yeah, supplements generally what happens, people who are not getting a balanced diet. Okay. Then what happens that they may develop some kind of nutritional deficiency. Okay, so then what happens, the doctor will tell that you please take some supplement, vitamin B complex, or calcium, or these kind of supplements, they will prescribe the supplements. Okay, because the person is not taking a balanced diet. Okay, is taking say more of fast food only, too much of cooked food only, and not is not able to get the complete dosage of a proper balanced diet. In that case we have to take supplements.
So in the environmental strains, we all I mean we are going through a lot of chemicals. We are in contact with together with our way of life. They're all subject to damaging poisons which are made inside our body. So does this supplements also help to fight with the heavy health issues?
To a certain extent, but not always. Okay, because most of this detoxification takes place in the liver, and the liver, it requires these vitamins to act as a cofactors for the enzymes. These enzymes are going to do that detoxification, breaking down those chemicals, and converting into harmless chemicals. So this also require, many times they require vitamins as cofactors in the enzymes, but it is not always necessary that you have to take supplements to overcome that. Okay, I will see you all in the next class. Okay, we are up with the time. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.